All right, guys. Hello and welcome to the second match between Swooton in the red on the left side and Callmeking in the blue on the right side. The last game was rather short. There were some mistakes made with one of the players not pulling their workers to defend themselves against the other queen. I think it was like 2 or 3 minute match. This game, 18 minutes. We're watching the replay now. This is not recorded live. And we'll see who wins this significantly much longer match. Makes more sense. The last match was on Small Hill, which is a small pile of dirt in the middle. This particular map is Crater, or actually I think it's called Large Hole now. No, Large Basin. It's called Large Basin. And yeah, it's with both players being on the exact opposite sides, it's going to make for a longer and more interesting test of skill to see who's actually a better player than the last round, which, you know, one mistake could in the tournament for a even a better player, right? So on these larger maps, you get to see who you typically get to see who plays better than the other player. So far, I do like Callmeking's playstyle better. He is digging a second drop-off point for his workers. He's building a worker nest there, opening up the dirt. This will create a secondary entrance to his base, but it allows for workers to more quickly and efficiently drop off food from the plants than coming from this plant here all the way down here. One thing that he is doing that I don't like is that he's building a soldier nest right by the entrance. I typically like to put soldier nest at the back of my base, not right here by the entrance, because it's much easier to get in there and kill the soldier nest if it's easily accessible near the surface. Swooton is building wood ant walls to create creep near the dirt here, which is good. Once again, I'm seeing this strategy that I saw earlier with Krogoth, where you build the wood ant wall directly touching the dirt. It's not necessary. You could build the wood ant wall one tile removed from the dirt, and if you did that, you would have 3 creep spots instead of just 2, because now your units have to run around this particular wall instead of running underneath its protection between the dirt and the wall. I don't really understand the that style of building wood ant walls, but the result is the same. You are getting more creep space, just less of it. And yeah, Swooton is getting scouted right now by Callmeking. I am surprised that he hasn't upgraded this nest, and I'm surprised that Callmeking was not able to destroy that nest. We can't. Looks like we canceled something there. Oh no, he must have got a worm. Worms, like insects, if you kill them, worms are like the insects for the underground. If you kill them, you get plus 10 food, which is pretty, you know, that could be a pretty decisive advantage early in the game. But here's why I don't like to build soldier nests near the surface. That's exactly why. You know, if he had built the soldier nest further back, especially in a tunnel, you know, protected by his queen, like putting his soldier nest here and his queen was here, Swooton would not have been able to pick out that soldier nest. So Callmeking basically lost this soldier nest as a direct result of a bad placement decision for his soldier nest. That's it. If he had placed it basically in just a better spot, he probably would not have lost any soldier nest in that particular attack. We see a small attack coming over here from Callmeking. He's going to try to run in, which I agree is a good decision, and he's going to try to get a soldier nest here. Poorly microed that particular soldier. If he had been a little bit more careful to make sure that that soldier wasn't getting stuck behind the other one, he could have easily killed that soldier nest in time. Oh, but he does send in another one to finish it off. Very good play. So now Swooton has a significantly much larger attack force than Callmeking had a minute ago. So Callmeking has the economic advantage at the moment. He's got more workers. But I don't think that his military is capable of dealing with this sort of attack. And he has not upgraded his workers yet. Let's take a look at the upgrades. Upgrades are pretty much even, with Callmeking having an advantage, or had an advantage. Swooton just finished his speed upgrade. So his majors and soldiers now run 25% faster. Here we go again with Soldier Nest being near the surface, being the main cause for Callmeking losing those units, those structures, and he builds them, builds Soldier Nest again in the exact same spots. These worker nests should be here. He should swap the placement of these Soldier Nest and these worker nests, because if he had done that, Swooton would have killed worker nest just now, preferably upgraded to hidden trails, and Callmeking would have been in a much better position than having lost 3 soldier nests. I do like what he's doing here, picking off some of the worker nests. He should have targeted fired these particular worker nests. You know, he should have units coming up here and killing these worker nests, making sure that Swooton's not able to have that, you know, exterior food drop-off points. I am a little disappointed that Swooton has not killed this insect. You know, that is plus 10 food. At this stage of the game, maybe it's not such a big deal, but to have one right there by your workers and your units, it'd be easy to kill. Even for one of these workers, one of these soldiers, it would take just a couple seconds to kill that insect and get an extra 10 food instantaneously. Each time these workers come back and forth from a plant, it's 10 food, so it's an easy way to get 10 food fairly quickly. Callmeking does have 2 damage now, and Swooton has damage 1 and armor 1. I remember in the match versus Krogoth, Callmeking did not get armor. I think he opted to get 3 damage first. I typically play myself in a style of getting armor and damage rather equally, or maybe I'll get 2 damage and then 1 armor, 2 armor, something like that. I typically don't max. I typically don't get 3 damage and then go for armor. So, despite the fact that Swooton seemingly has the military advantage here, the match seems fairly even, and I'm not sure who is in the winning position here. Callmeking definitely has more workers, and yeah, at this stage he actually has more soldiers. I would like to see Callmeking use those soldiers more effectively, potentially attack from this angle here, or attack from this angle here. Make sure you get those nests every time you attack. Instead, he's attacking straight across the field in like a standard tug-of-war type of attack angle. I like to see these acid sprayers mixed in with Swooton's army. That's good. But yeah, you have this massive circle that you can maneuver your units in, and I think it'd be cool to see Callmeking, you know, attack from both sides at once. I do like this. Keep running in. I think he should have kept going there rather than stopping for that one nest. He may have been able to get you know, 2 or 3 of Swooton's soldier nest right there. But he does. I think he did pick off 2 there. So that is a decisive trade for Callmeking in that particular scenario. Who's got what here? So Callmeking has 24 soldier nest and 23 worker nest versus Swooton's 11 soldier nest and 14 worker nest. So aside from the fact that Swooton has acid sprayers mixed into his army, Callmeking definitely has more infrastructure. He's been macroing harder, building his base bigger than Swooton has been, and that will ultimately lend itself to the winning hand if he's able to hold off these aggressive attacks from Swooton. Swooton pulling back right there is a mistake. He should have kept the attack going. He realizes that and turns around. At this point, though, Callmeking has respawn sufficient numbers in order to defend against that attack. But yeah, if you have the momentum, it's best to keep going. Try to pick off a nest or 2 if you're able to. Let's see if Swooton, or let's see if Callmeking, you know, attacks from more interesting angles than simply straight across the map. Both players are attacking from straight across the map, and I think both players could, you know, utilize, you know, different attack angles to attack from 2 sides at once. Even though the front's not that big, even splitting your forces and attacking from both sides is good. Swooton does have an acid launcher bunkered in the wall here. So that is very good for Swooton. It helps him with the defense. It spooks Callmeking from these direct attacks, even though it shouldn't, because the acid launcher is not going to do that much damage. All right, so Callmeking's going in. He should hold position right now and kill all the nest, including that front one. He passed that one right there rather than killing it. He should have killed that nest. That was a lost opportunity. So yeah, Callmeking could have very easily killed this nest and this nest, as well as every nest down this tunnel, despite being thwarted like that. So he did miss an opportunity there. I don't believe that either player has Scout Nest built. Yeah, I don't see Scout Nest from either player. And both of them are using hidden workers. That's these ones that look burrowed. And those hidden workers are cloaked. They cannot be seen without detection. So, you know, whenever you have momentum on your side, the player that has a force on top of their enemy's workers is unable to kill the enemy workers without a scout, you know, in that area. Oh, I do see that insect going down. That's nice. But yeah, there should be some scouts for Callmeking sitting here looking at these workers, maybe some outposts to monitor the army. But both players are doing fairly poorly in terms of, you know, being aware of what the other player is doing in terms of how many workers they have hidden, what their army position is. They're kind of waiting for their opponent to run straight across the map and attack them in the head-on position. I'm looking at Swooton's camera right now. You can see that Callmeking's side of the map is dark. You can't see anything that's going on over there. And aside from this one attack, the same is true for Callmeking. He has no vision whatsoever of Swooton's side of the map other than the soldiers that he's sending over. And that is a shame, considering that you do have the ability to build cloaked units like scouts, and then the scouts themselves can build outposts to monitor, you know, discreetly what is going on the other side of the map. You saw there that some of these workers were taking damage from Callmeking's units. That's great. If Callmeking had some scouts here, he would be able to kill all these workers and basically keep Swooton in this defensive position that he's in right now. Swooton is opting for a defensive position. He's not opting to attack. I think he feels that he's in a losing position here. And yeah, as long as his workers are allowed to live like that, Swooton has no reason to leave his base or try to leave his base in that particular scenario. Callmeking does break in and is able to get some of these nests. Now this hurts Swooton a lot, considering that Swooton still has only a dozen soldier nests compared to Callmeking's 40. When you have such a numerical disadvantage in the amount of soldier nests you have, in order to keep up with the amount of soldiers that you have to spam R. We say click the R button on your soldier nest to add a soldier to that nest. Well, that's fine. The soldiers will respawn from that nest, but for each nest that you lose all those respawning soldiers. So it's better to have, you know, 40 soldier nest respawning 2 soldiers than it is to have 10 soldier nest respawning, you know, 8. What is it? 8 soldiers? Yeah. Better to have 40 respawning 2 than 10 respawning 8, because for every soldier nest that you lose that's respawning 8 soldiers, you just lost 8 soldiers. But if you lose a nest and you have 40 soldiers respawning 2, you only lost 2 soldiers. So it's always better to keep building soldier nest, keep building worker nest. And at this particular stage, you can see that Callmeking has a huge advantage in terms of the amount of structures that he's built, and it is paying off for him in spades in this particular match, despite the fact that he has made numerous mistakes, like not building not building scouts, and not attacking from different angles. So even in this kind of like more strategically neutral, just attack in a straight line playstyle, the macro advantage of outbuilding your opponent and just continuing to build while your opponent sits around and does nothing, I guess, with their queen, you know, it pays off. You know, Swooton's got a queen here that's got full energy, and he could have been using that queen to dig and to build, and now it's because he hasn't been digging and building, he has to use that queen to drop pheromone walls and prolong his life in this game. for a little bit longer. Let's take a look at their cameras one more time. You can see that Swooton still has no awareness of the map outside of his base. Callmeking could have worker nest all around the entire map, and Swooton would not know. Same for Callmeking. He has no idea if Swooton has anything here or here or here. I mean, Swooton could have 30 worker nests on the top and the bottom, and Callmeking would never know without doing any scouting. So yeah, not seeing the scouts, not seeing attacking from different angles especially on a map this large could make you lose potential opportunities. Fortunately for both these players, they are playing a similar military strategy where they attack across the middle, and they don't have really any expansion. Now this is good though. What Callmeking's done, he's got 4 entry points to his base, and each entry point workers are allowed to come in and drop off food. So that is better than what Swooton has, and it looks like it's going to be GG for Swooton very shortly. His base is wide open. He's not clicking these pebbles to move them down. That's one thing that he could do, is select these pebbles, which have much higher health and armor than regular dirt, and he could move those pebbles down and start re-walling this open portion of his base. But due to the fact that he hardly has any soldier nest compared to Callmeking, he's got to protect these soldier nests that he does have at all cost. Otherwise, he's losing, who knows, dozens of soldiers at a time for every single nest that he loses. Or another thing that he could do is to use his wood ant to build walls down here. He could build the walls, which have higher health. They have shields compared to the dirt. But Swooton is just digging up here. He's hiding his queen rather than repairing the gaping hole in his base. So yeah, I would say that out of both of these players, I do like this this attack right here from Swooton. Unfortunately, he's not able to get into the base. Out of both of these players, Callmeking played exponentially better than Swooton did, despite the promising results from the last game between these two players. It looks like Swooton has been out macroed heavily from Callmeking. Now Swooton is running in here with his units. He has been able to run in with all these units. I would have held position on these nests potentially rather than looking for the queen, but I think that's what Swooton was doing, was he's looking for Callmeking's queen. I think maybe the better play here would have been to kill as many nests as possible. Instead, he's still trying to get to that queen, and I don't think that's going to work out for him. He's just lost too many units. It's kind of a Hail Mary. But yeah, he had the ability to take out half of Callmeking's base, and he didn't. And while he did not take out the base, Callmeking was able to come in here and attack and destroy Swooton's entire base, basically. So that was basically a base race, but instead of the base race, Swooton was losing his base and trying to get Callmeking's queen. So Swooton, I imagine a GG at any moment. I can't think that he's going to keep building here, but I guess we'll see. This game's definitely over. Yeah, I hope Swooton watches this and learns a thing or two, though, because there's definitely a lot of room for improvement in this particular match, for sure. Well, that's it for match 2. That's 1-1, so now we'll see who breaks the tie in match 3 between Swooton and Callmeking.